Hi everyone, welcome back to the Denied by the Crossbar podcast. I'm Dario, host. I'm joined by Touchline. Lee, how you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Guys, no podcast last week. Lee couldn't drag himself away from Football Manager. No, I'm only joking. Lee was ill. But yeah, we've had another managerial sacking, more despair for Liverpool and Fulham. Our teams aren't doing well again. But yes, let's get into it. Okay, let's just start straight away with Liverpool's embarrassing performance against Man City yesterday, getting pumped 3-0. I thought they'd turn the corner. They obviously haven't. They look good against Real Madrid, and we look like we were back 4 weeks ago, getting rinsed. Yeah, not very good performance. No heart, no spirit, no character. Talk to me, Lee.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pep went into that game with quite some confidence. Obviously, Liverpool's form hasn't been the best. It was his 1,000th managerial game, which is obviously quite a big deal. Haaland looked good. Foden looked fun. Like, I don't know, when you go up against City when they look like that, don't think it really matters your form. And it's at the Etihad. It's a big game. It's so weird when games like this fall in place. So it's his 1,000th game. It's against Liverpool, a rivalry that started with obviously Klopp and Pep, and it's carried on over with Slot. But yeah, I mean, Liverpool didn't look good enough, but also City did look just really, really good yesterday. And I think, like I said, I don't think it really mattered the squad that you put out. And yeah, maybe some of your players could have done better, but I think they were going to find a way anyway. And like missing the pen, I think says a lot as well. You got to remember that it was 3-0 and, you know, Mamadashvili saved the pen. So there's even more to it that happened, but it's not looking good for Liverpool at the moment. I'm really surprised that what I see is like quite a downfall from last season now. It's like quite a noticeable change as well in the way like you guys are playing.
Yes, we look short of one player, the player who tore us apart yesterday. That's the player that we need. Someone like a Doku, an adventurous player that's going to take people on, beat people, run at you, just do the unpredictable. Luis Diaz, who's been tearing up for Bayern. That's what we still look like we're missing now, you know. But it is just a quick one. What did you think about the disallowed goal?
I've seen that today it's been appealed to PGMOL. I don't know why.
There's no point. No, we're not going to get any point. Nothing changes. I just think I'm asking because I've seen him given and not given, and I think he wasn't in the sight. He wasn't in the line of sight of the goalkeeper, so it's a bit of a weird one, but we take it.
He wasn't in the line of sight of the goalkeeper. If the ball came from the other side of the pitch, then he would have been. He was in front of the keeper, but he was like in front to the side that didn't matter, sort of thing. So I think it's weak. It's a pain. I don't think it would have changed the game, to be honest.
No. I totally agree. Would have lost the game. They outplayed us anyway. Yeah.
But it is a weird one because I don't quite understand when the goal goes in. It's such a tell when the players don't react, and it seems so quiet. Like
no one was. The goalkeeper wasn't going. Oh, I couldn't see.
That's what I'm saying. Like the keeper wasn't fuming. Like, what are you doing? How have you let that go in? Like, what's happening? He's there. He's in the way. No, it went in. Everyone carried on.
Let's move on. Let's go on.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was weak. I also think the penalty shout was quite weak. If that, I don't know.
I've seen them given. I've seen them not.
Small touch. Yeah, it is a touch and it is a pen by the letter of the law. So I guess you can't overly argue it because he touched it. Like, but that's realistically, you're not.
It wouldn't change anything.
But he didn't go in anyway. It was a great save from the keeper, who I think is doing quite well. He conceded 3 in a game of football, but I still think he looked like he had quite an all right game.
Yes, for Liverpool, Slot needs to go back to the drawing board and come again because I'm getting a bit disheartened with some of these results, and there's the tactics just don't look right at the moment. So yes, let's not talk about them anymore. Tottenham 2, Man United 2. It was Tottenham was losing most of the game. They managed to come back right at the end. They've took the lead through Charleston 2-1. and then De Ligt popped up at the end. Now, it's a good point for Tottenham because what I did want to discuss, Lee, was managers really tonight. Thomas Frank against Chelsea, he was getting booed off the pitch. There's a lot of discontent in the Tottenham fans, and I really like Thomas Frank, but it's bothering me because look where they was last year. And you're thinking, I know he's not playing the most attractive, adventurous football. You have to remember, he's a pragmatic manager. He's come from a smaller club, as in Brentford. Yeah, so you have to see what he's trying to do. He's been there for 3-4 months. He's getting booed off the pitch. Chelsea, there was a man down. I think I don't like it. I don't like when fans give him a chance. You know?
Yeah, I think he's done well to come into the United game, and maybe they didn't play the best football, but they got a point. They conceded so late on after scoring so late on. It's such a weird mentality switch where Richarlison scored that goal. He takes his shirt off. He celebrates. You know, they've got 2 minutes left, but they're acting like that's it. 3 points in the bag, and then so quickly it changes, and now you've only got a draw, and it looks like a very different game of football. But I think Thomas, like, you would be happy with the result. United are actually really good at the moment. They're on their best form. I think they've probably been up for how long now?
Like seriously, years,
like, it's a long time since they've been unbeaten this long, let alone like scoring goals and stuff. So it's a good United team. Tottenham have just come from that loss, obviously. They've gone and got a point. Yeah, they should have kept the 3, but it doesn't matter. I think, how can you be this harsh on someone like Thomas Frank? Look at Ange. That's who you had.
This is what I mean.
That's what you had last year, all through last year. You've then got Thomas Frank. Look where you are now. Look how good it is. You lost a game of football against Chelsea. They're a good team. They did win the Club World Cup. They're inconsistent, but they're good. Like, how can you be that annoyed over this game? Tottenham they're not battling relegation like last year.
This is what I mean. I'm shocked at the way they're treating him.
Yeah, I think it's really unfair. I am surprised by it. And I think they'll realise, like, quite quick, it's fine. Like, they're all right. I think they'll be absolutely fine.
Like I said, he plays a pragmatic style of football. He's come from Brentford, which is you know, you're fighting against the bigger clubs, if you know what I'm trying to say. So you're not going to go all guns blazing. I think we discussed it earlier in the season. He is trying to play that the midfield that he plays with Bentancur, Sarr sometimes. The rotation they've got is all quite defensive. It's not as expansive enough that they want to see. Tottenham want to see great football. We have the same problem with sometimes West Ham. They say, they don't play the West Ham way. What is that at the moment? Losing? What do you want? Do you want to play pragmatic and win, or draw, or do you want to play expansive football and be in a relegation fight? Do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly. What is it that you actually want from it? So you got to be careful what you wish for as well. Like, you don't want to boo off a manager that's actually performing, and he's doing all right.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Very early on to be doing that, and obviously there was a bit of a disagreement between the players and the manager last week as well. So it's a bit odd, but hopefully that
doesn't spiral. I just hope it doesn't spiral and start turning against him, because I think he's a top manager, and I reckon he could take him to the top 6. I really, really do. You know?
Yeah, I don't see why he can't. To be honest, like there's a lot of quality in that side, and they're still missing players. Like James Maddison's probably going to be out until late on in the season. That's a creative player that. And but they're like the creative midfield players. So of course they're playing a bit defensive because their 2 key creators are currently injured. So I think he's doing a fantastic job. And you take a draw against United at the moment, it's a good result. Carry on, play next week, win next week. It's all good.
Totally agree. The Hammers 3. Burnley 2, that's back-to-back games now. Newcastle last week and Burnley now. Looks like Nuno's starting to get his message across, Lee.
Yeah, it's a really annoying result as a Fulham fan, because it's the team below us beating the team 2 tiers, like 2 positions below us. So it's a great result for them to climb up. Obviously, they beat Newcastle. Now they beat Burnley. So, yeah, fair play to West Ham. And obviously, Nuno needed a bit of time. It was a bad game against Arsenal for his first game in. But now he's obviously doing what he wants. 3-2 is not the best result against Burnley, but it was a great game, and there was a last-minute goal. So I think it's good. Fair play. Win's a win, isn't it, when you're that low down in the table? Like, you take 2 in a row as well.
Yeah, definitely. A win's a win. And they were 1-0 down in that game, so they showed at home as well. The crowd could have got on, but the crowd got behind them. They got back. And, I think it's starting to turn for Nuno. I think he can save him. I think he will.
Yeah.
He'll be all right. What do you think about Nottingham Forest chance of staying up?
Slim, I think.
Slim.
Yeah, I think they've really got to start changing something now because they don't. I don't know. They don't look right at all, especially when you look at last season and how they performed and like keeper, the centre backs, how many clean sheets they kept between them last season, and then I don't know. I don't know how it can be that big of a change, but I think that the appointment of Sean Dyche says a lot about the condition of the club and where they are because, like, we made the jokes and he obviously has a lot of credentials, but it is Sean Dyche and he is seen as that, like, relegation, gritty football.
Battler.
Yeah. So when you go from what they have had to then Sean Dyche, I think it says a lot about, like, seriously, that I think they think they're in trouble, which isn't.
It's a mindset change, isn't it? From probably thinking they're going to win the Europa League, from thinking about we're going to win the Europa League with Ange to let's survive in the Premier League. You know?
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
A mad one. They got a win yesterday, though. They did still concede against Leeds. They were 1 down, so they did well to get the win.
Yeah, it's an important win for them, but yeah, still conceding goals, and they just don't look anything like the team they were last year.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Brentford 3, Newcastle 1. Wow, listen, I've been really impressed with Keith Andrews. He's done a great job. I'll be honest, I was one of the ones that was literally saying they're gone. New manager, they lost their 2 top scorers, Wissa and Mbeumo. They lost the manager, all the backroom staff. You've mentioned that before. And somehow the set piece coach has taken up the managerial reins and he's doing a good job. A couple of weeks ago, he beat Liverpool. This week, Newcastle. Mate, what can we say about Keith Andrews? I'm so impressed. He's shoved it all down our throats. And you know what? Big up to him for that.
Yeah, they look good. And Newcastle look bad at the moment, but I think Brentford, fair enough. Yeah, take advantage of it. And we know that they're a good side. Obviously, like you've just said, like they've lost 2 massive players.
And their captain. They lost their captain as well, sorry.
And their captain, yeah. But it definitely affected them at the start of the season, but they've definitely like turned things around now. And I have always thought it with Tottenham and Kane, Fulham and Paulinho. It happens a few times where when you lose a player that you think is really quite important to the club, like whether it's the manager or the other players around you, they fill that void. They make up for the lost player. And I think sometimes it improves the squad. And genuinely, I think that maybe Brentford will look back and say, you know, they got the money out of these players and perhaps it actually was the best thing for that club at the time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes it's weird. It's your best player leaves, but it kind of galvanizes the squad. Everyone else thinks we've got to give another 2% to make up for, I don't know, whoever leaving, the Mitrovic or Harry Kane's. You know, they all kind of pull together and it actually works out right, you know. But yeah, been really impressed. What about Igor, their goal scorer? What's his name? Their goal scorer.
Thiago.
Igor Thiago. How many goals he scored? I'm impressed. Never heard of him before he came there.
Yeah. So they brought him in and they didn't really use him last year. I'm not.
Was he from last year? Was he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, but they do that thing. You know, bring in the player, sort of like establish them at the club, and then they build for the fact that they know that the people will be out and whatnot. So fair enough. They've done really well again, bringing in the right player in the right position to do that job. And he's obviously quite good because, like you say, he's not up there with Haaland, but he is up there with Welbeck and the others. So,
scoring
fair play
goals.
to him.
Fair plays, man. Scoring goals. Jordan Henderson leading that team, though. Good on you. Good on him. What can I say? I was a bit skeptical of that move. I thought he was going to go to Sunderland when they said he was coming back. Chose Brentford. I thought it was a bit of a strange one because obviously Sunderland is his hometown club, but he's done really well there, leading the team really well.
Yeah, he has done well. And I think that the whole like the Ajax move clearly wasn't the right thing for him. Ajax are in a real problem at the moment themselves. He didn't look good for Ajax. They were playing him weird. I think he played like right back for a fair bit of this time there, or left back. I can't remember. Really odd. And I think it's so good that he got out of there when he did because there, underlying issues at Ajax. His career is very late on now, but the fact that he's come into the Prem again and he's playing good and he's consistently playing, you've got him and James Milner now playing, starting in their clubs in the Premier League. It's very, very odd, isn't it?
I know. But those deep underlying problems at Ajax are still gone. They've just sacked Johnny Heitinga. They've put him on leave. So I hope he comes back to Liverpool because we look like we need some more coaching. I hope he comes back, if I'm honest. Yes, Sunderland, the podcast second team 2, Arsenal 2. I'm going to let you lead this one, Lee. Run with it, mate.
It was a battle of the set pieces, wasn't it? I mean, Arsenal love them. Sunderland love them. It was like the first six or 7 minutes. There was like 2 or 3 long throws from Sunderland. They didn't do a lot with them, but straight away I was like, oh, here we go. Like, I know what's happened there. And then Sunderland took the lead, which was just ridiculous. I think they get underestimated still, which is bizarre to me. They're 4th in the Prem. They've gone there, took the lead. And I think at that point, it woke Arsenal up a little bit more. It's a real shame in my eyes that what happened. But to then concede 2 after taking the lead against Arsenal, they hadn't conceded a goal in like 30. What was it? It was ridiculous.
800-900 hours maybe?
Or something.
Was it?
Yeah, I can't remember what it is. Mad amount of time. So they got the goal nice and early. They settled into the game. It was a bit weird. It seemed a bit... It didn't look like the right game. It wasn't first against 4th. It did look a bit lopsided at times. But to score that last-minute equaliser from Brian Bromby, like, wow, fair enough. What a little flick as well. What a touch to score. Yeah, he did crazy. Well. It's great to watch our second team and the podcast team to go and play good football when our teams are just struggling at the moment. It's nice to see someone winning games.
It is nice to be cheering someone on. Yeah, no, they did really well. They took the lead. I was quite shocked. They really put Arsenal under pressure. The first half, they played really well. That's probably one of the most I've seen Arsenal under pressure this season, if I'm honest with you. They've pushed them back really, really well. Didn't let Arsenal play their football. Kept at them. I can't think of his name. They've got a central midfielder. I can't think of his name. He'll come to me in a bit. He just played game of his life. Stopped everything, blocked everything. But Ballard, ex-Arsenal boy, Arsenal trainee, whatever it was, scoring a good goal, bursting through, smashing in. Did you see the block that he made at the end? He made a crazy block. It was a tap-in. He smashed. He put his body in front of it. Mate, I was really impressed with Sunderland. But yeah, they showed spirit, character, and even though they were 2-0 down and it was disappointing, they let in those 2 goals, you just knew with that crowd behind them, something was going to happen. I remember I think I looked at it was like 90, 89th, and I thought, you know what? You still felt something in the air. Something was going to happen. Somehow they're going to get a chance. They always say there's one more chance,
Yeah, always. They never, ever give up, do they? Until that whistle is blown, they always look like they've got it in them to go out and score, which is exactly what they've then gone and done again.
Can they finish in the Champions League? Top 5. They're 4th now. It wouldn't surprise me,
I genuinely think they'll get European football, maybe not Champions League. AFCON still to come. And when you look at their squad and you rattle off their key players, a lot of them represent their African nations, which is great for them. And they're going to go out and get some international football. I think currently it's like African qualifiers at the moment. I think it's Nigeria, Morocco today or tomorrow, stuff like that. So it's a big set of games for some of these guys. It's going to get them into their competitions. So it's a shame, but they are going to go, and a lot of them represent quite good African nations, which means they're going to be gone for a lot longer. It with Salah. I've seen it now with a lot of Nigerian players at Fulham. They go for a while, and then they don't come back fully fit and ready to go. I think Sunderland now just have to really focus on that, get through this period that is going to be a bit harder, and then towards the back end of the season, they could just carry on their form that they're in now and, finish in European football. Why not? Yeah.
One more thing. Shout out Granit Xhaka, captain's performance. He felt like he had a point to prove against Arsenal. This is what you're missing out. You let me go. And this is what, I'm going to win the treble and come back, and I'm still here battling. I'm going to bring this team home. I'm really impressed. One of the signings of the season, I reckon, for him,
I think possibly the Premier League signing of the season is Xhaka when you look at, what he's done to that squad.
Yeah.
No one's had an impact like that in the Premier League squad.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with him. He's done really well. He's dragging the team through. Regis Libri changed it up. Did you see the part where he bought the advertising hoardings forward because he knows Arsenal are going to use the long throws? Did you see that?
Yeah.
A picture of the pitch last week compared to now, or like a couple of weeks ago, they lost about 5 yards shorter, so you couldn't get the run up for the long throws.
But that is weird because they use long throws, but they obviously thought that. Yeah,
it was.
But he obviously thought having them without is better than them with, sort of thing. Yeah. So interesting. Obviously, it's quite funny to do that, and then you can open it up for when they play teams that don't bother with it. It's quite, it's a good idea. It's funny.
But credit to him. There's little things make a difference, but credit to him. Absolutely. At the end, he threw the players on. He went for it. He didn't just sit there and think, right, we're taking defeat. We're going to take it. He went there and he snapped something for the jaws of defeat, So, big up Regis Libri. We know he's one of our favourites, but really impressive him still. And the whole team, the whole club as a whole,
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, moving on. Let's just talk about Wolves. So, obviously, since we've talked the last time, Pereira's been sacked. They were going after O'Neill. O'Neill's ruled himself out. I don't know why he'd actually go back there, to be honest. I thought that was a bit of a weird one and his name was mentioned. But
it's what isn't it? It's going back to what he can do. I think he did really well at Wolves. And
I think he did really well. I was surprised when they shut him the first time,
Exactly. But obviously he's ruled himself out and we've got a name now in Rob Edwards, haven't we?
Well, Rob Edwards, listen, he came up with Luton to the Premier League, got relegated. I think he got sacked when they were nearly bottom of the Championship last year, so that's nearly another relegation. Middlesbrough gave him a chance. He's been there for 3 months, doing a really good job in the top 3, I think, in the Championship with Middlesbrough. They're a well-run club. And he's decided to tell him that he wants to go. He wants to go to be head coach of Wolves. What do you think about that? That's a bit risky.
I think it's weird because Middlesbrough gave him leave over the weekend. So on Saturday, Middlesbrough played Birmingham, which was a massive game in that league.
They stood him down,
and they accepted the fact that he wasn't going to be there. So instead, he was at the Wolves game, which I think there and then that's sort of signed, sealed, and delivered. If he now doesn't leave, he's just abandoned a game of football that could be the make or break to automatic or playoffs later on in the season. So that seems crazy. I also think he just doesn't have Premier League credentials. Like you said, Luton almost relegated again. He's had 3 months at Borough, but then when he wasn't at Borough for this game over the weekend, they still managed to get the win. So I'm not saying they don't need him, but they still perform without him. I think that's quite an odd appointment to jump to Rob Edwards when what you actually need is someone to completely take control of that sinking ship.
Or are they trying to think long term and plan for next season? Because obviously he's gotten a Championship team up. So are they thinking, right, give him a crack? If he doesn't keep us up, fair enough. But we know he's capable of bringing a team up, as in Luton, and he's doing well with Middlesbrough. So he's got that, promotion experience. So they're thinking that far ahead, expecting to get relegated.
I mean, if you're bringing a manager in before Christmas with the idea that you get relegated and he can help you come up,
it's not a good look.
That's a big issue. That's a big problem.
No, you're right.
I think he's obviously good enough. Borough took him on. He's had a good time there. He needs to go to that club and stay up. He has to. If Wolves get relegated, it's going to be such an issue. There's too much going on in the Championship right now. You don't just come straight up. It's not like that. We've seen it too many times with these teams getting relegated and then like Luton going down again even, which if you lose the wrong players, that can happen. I think he has to stay up and then they have to just give him a couple of years. Just the club are in a real weird transition period. So they need to make sure that the manager they get is there for it.
When was the last time they gave a manager a couple of years ago? They don't anymore.
No, they don't.
They don't anymore. They don't. It's tough. I find it if I'm honest, I feel sorry for Middlesbrough because at first Middlesbrough rejected. They made an approach in Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough rejected approach. Think then their statement was, we don't see why we should let a manager who signed a 3-year deal 4 months ago talk to another club when we've just given him an opportunity, backed him, and then 3 months later he wants to leave. And they're flying high in the Champions. They're one of the top 3 favourites to go up. So that's why I'm quite shocked about that. He'd want to leave there, you know. What happens if he goes to Wolves, gets relegated? That'll be 2 relegations on his belt, under his belt. What happens to his career? I'm thinking more of a personal wise. What happens to his career? Is he loses all credentials in my eyes?
Yeah, and then if you leave a club after 3 months, which
doesn't look good, bro.
It really doesn't look good in the future when, let's say it doesn't work out that well for Wolves and then he goes to another club. There's always going to be that question mark of how loyal you are to a club. Will you just jump ship if something comes up? 3 months isn't very long. It's also, I don't think, long enough to understand a manager, because we've said this already about some of these new Prem managers, like give him time. Nuno, look at Nuno, give him time. Things change. He's got 2 wins on the bounce now. 3 months. I don't know if everyone's seen Rob Edwards yet. 6 months in, it
I know what you mean.
Really bad news for him. So I think you don't want to jump in too quick on a player on a manager appointment. Yeah, but at the same time, what do you do if you're Wolves?
You go for an experienced manager. I'll go for Sam Allardyce. Bring him back.
Yeah, at some point, them guys aren't going to be available anymore.
No, I'm joking. Now that was a joke. Forget those guys. Yeah. Those guys have been passed now. Question for you: what do you think's more likely, Middlesbrough coming up or Wolves going down?
They're probably pretty equal. Honestly, I think there's a good chance Wolves go down, and I also think there's a good chance Middlesbrough come up this season. So I see what you're saying. How does Rob Edwards?
I just think it's a very strange thing for him to go for that job, but he wants Premier League. So, like we said earlier on,
he obviously backs himself. You don't become a top flight manager if you don't have confidence in yourself. So he must be backing himself. He must be saying, "Look, I'm good enough to stay in the Prem. I can take this team. I can do well with them." So if that's his mentality and that's what he genuinely thinks he's going to do, then I can understand that he wants to go to Wolves and he's saying, "Well, I'm going to go to Wolves and stay up." He could stay at Borough, but it's very hard. If you go through the playoffs, it doesn't matter how good you are. It's the hardest 3 games of any club's career, and he could have the best season, in the Championship, finish 3rd and get knocked out at Wembley, and then he's back in the Championship.
Yeah, it's a hard one. Yeah, I understand that. It's still a tough one, but mate, you got to give him credit. He's going for it. He wants the job. He wants to manage at the highest level. The Premier League is what everyone wants to see. Everyone watches. The biggest league in the world. Fair dues to him. He backs himself. I respect him for that. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just looking at him both sides.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, Lee. I know you didn't watch much football this week, but have you got a highlight for me?
Yeah.
I know what you're going to say.
Like it.
Go on.
It's Jeremy Doku.
Oh, you nicked my one. Go on.
Yeah, he played so well all game. He just looked great. And then that goal was just so good. It doesn't matter if you know that he runs down the left, cuts in and finesses it like that, because he still went and did it. It was just so good, and it was so deserved. He had such a good game all game. So I'm going to say it was Doku against Liverpool as my highlight.
That's fair enough. I was going to say my highlight was going to be Doku's performance yesterday, because that's one of the best wingers performance I've seen for a long time. I like dynamic.
Yeah.
We talk about, the systems of Man City or Pep and this and that, but that was a dynamic performance. I love that. I love seeing wingers do that to people. It's my team. I'm not really. I love seeing the unpredictability inside, outside. You must have rinsed Conor Gallagher and Konate so many times yesterday that I was just sitting in awe, just looking at it, thinking, well, I appreciate the performance. It was one of the best performances I've seen for a long time from a winger, and he capped it off with a goal as well. I can't say that.
Reminded me of Sane.
Back in a few years back.
Like when he first joined City, they were very much like that, yeah.
Unpredictable, inside, outside. But I find Sane had a bit more class about it because he's left-footed. Those left-footed players have that. It looks a little bit more class, when they do it. They drift in and out. It looks a little bit more silkier, Yeah. Okay, my highlight's going to have to be old Football Manager favourite Brian Robbie getting that goal against Arsenal. Not because it's against Arsenal, it's because of who it was. And I didn't even know we got transferred there. It was a late transfer, wasn't it? Yeah. We know what he's like. So, I've got to give it to my highlight got with Brian Robbie. And like I said, it's a massive goal for them to come against Arsenal. People expected them to get whipped. They were odds on to lose. So, to get a point at home in that an amazing stadium, that takes it. That
Oh,
wins
it's
it for
such a
me.
big deal for them. Like, just they keep getting points. It's so good for them. Yeah,
It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable, you know. Okay, that wraps up for today. Lee, thanks for jumping on, bro. Appreciate it, man.
no worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for supporting the podcast. Please like and share the podcast. Stick the notification button on so the podcast comes straight through to you. And thank you again for all the support on all the platforms, Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, we will catch you next week. Thanks a lot, guys.
See you later.